I'm Birdie Rabbit, freshly baked and here to give you the truth as I see it. Steven Spielberg was a master at something very special years ago. Something that he was well known for, and had a massive following because of it. It was in the movies he directed back then. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark, and of course, Jurassic Park, the first one. This something was impossible to copy and rare to emulate properly. Disney itself used to have it. George Lucas had it many years ago, but also lost it. And people are striving all their lives to sneak a peek at it. And once they grasp it, they return to the original source of it over and over and over. That's why franchises sometimes work. Mostly they don't. And as you'll see, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, is kind of quite the opposite of it. This something here is a sense of wonder. And by all accounts, it's safe to say the writers of Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom have no clue it's the key to Jurassic Park, the franchise, and so many others. No matter how many times you try to mimic John Williams' memorable music, you're not going to recreate that moment when everyone saw the Brachiosaurus for the first time, in all its size and glory. This movie, like so many other sequels of franchises, relies heavily on callbacks, which is rather sad, because they are wasting the actors, artists, and musicians' time, and the audience's trust. Because they can't gain that experience, that sense of wonder. So it's pretty safe to say, I didn't really like this movie. I mean, it wasn't terrible, no. It was more depressing. And you really don't have to worry about spoilers in this film. You already know what happens. Yeah, you're probably thinking, but Verity, I've never seen the dang movie. Yes, trust me, you have. If you have an IQ above 2, and have seen the other Jurassic movies, then you know everything. While you see it, just guess the most cliched thing to happen next before it does. Voila, you'll be right. I was. And just in case you can't, yes, there are going to be spoilers in this review. And if you'll bear with me just a little bit, I do have a bit of a cold. But I'm championing on, if I can actually pronounce any of these words. The first Jurassic Park was an adventure film, and all the sequels to it are action films. Now, some of you may be wondering what the difference is. Simply, it's a sense of wonder. With an adventure film, you are searching and discovering, and to the audience's delight, this is the enjoyable journey. All the while risking one thing or another, but still keeping very curious throughout the journey. Like a little kid at Disney World for the first time. That was Jurassic Park. Now, action films, on the other hand, is when one thing happens, and then another. It's just movement, action, but no sense of discovery. This action occurs over and over. The director is J.A. Bayona. Like the first Jurassic World's director, Colin Trevorrow, was not really known for anything of note, really. And after the first Jurassic World, Colin was supposed to be the guy directing the next Star Wars debacle, Star Wars 9. Which, at this point, we don't know if that would have been good. See, Disney had shifted things, or perhaps Kathleen Kennedy, and brought J.J. Abrams back. And now he's manning the helm for that, after the debacle that occurred with The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson, and his involvement with it, and also the Solo movie that just came out that didn't do very well, unfortunately. So because they're picking directors from out of everywhere, I wonder if they're either short on directors, or picking anybody. Or someone owes someone else a favor, and the payback is to get a multi-billion-dollar franchise to helm. Maybe I should give it a shot. Whatever the case, Colin did a pretty good job in creating an action movie in the first Jurassic World. And in this one, I mean, it was okay, but just nothing stood out, really. It was like wash, rinse, and repeat. The cinematography was trying to emulate the original Jurassic Park. It was beautiful, just like the score in this movie was beautiful, and also trying to emulate the beats even. Heck, they even had another little kid in it risking her life and almost getting eaten by a dino, too. I don't know. There just wasn't anything new, just callbacks, repeatedly. The only slightly new thing was the blue-striped velociraptor they introduced in the previous film, which was okay. She obeys commands. Okay. Oh, there was also a volcano. So it's kind of like the old dinosaur coloring books we used to have, where we color the dinos fighting, the herbivores eating, and the cool volcano in the background. Because there was always a volcano in the background in those dinosaur coloring books. Well, we have it in 3D now. Woo! Chris Pratt played Chris Pratt. To be honest, I kind of like Chris Pratt's personality. 90% little kid, 10% Indiana Jones wannabe. It made the movie's journey more enjoyable. Bryce Dallas Howard was cute as ever, and she played opposite him nicely. There wasn't really a ton of chemistry between them, but more friendly neighbors on a journey together, which I can't complain about. The movie starts off with a few scientists on a mission to get some DNA from some dinosaur. And the team meets up with the T-Rex from previous films, who through this entire film just waltzes in every so often to either save the hero or eat someone unimportant. And then walks out casually, not to be seen until her next cameo. Some of these scientists escape finally with the DNA, and then we shift over to a news report about the volcano exploding on the old Jurassic Park island, Isla Nublar, and all the dinosaurs are at threat for dear life. And most of the politicians don't want to save the dinos. So here comes a group of Greenpeace-like radicals to save the day. Yay! Because they are the only ones that really care about them. I wonder if it was symbolic of the issue everyone's having with the migrants right now. And of course, what a coincidence, this group is led by Bryce Dallas. Wow, who would have thunk? And this group is really ticked at the man for not caring about the dinos. Whoa, watch out, world, because they're going to make a difference. And to be honest, by the end of the film, they really do. To the entire planet. So, she is persuaded by some multi-billionaire that worked with the original founder, John Hammond, to go and save the dinos. With his assistant's aid, and by aid I mean his money and some mercenary guys. Yay! It's interesting to note that 12 minutes into the film, the only sense of wonder that I have, so far, in the least, is when they try to force the emotions, when the music raises up and it all gets emotional. Just like the moment with the Brachiosaurus in Jurassic Park. But here it's done when she travels to the rich guy's house, and shows the big mansion, and the music rises up then. Which made just everything awkward. And I thought they were trying to fight the system. The first step to do all of this is to track down her old colleague and flame, Chris Pratt. She actually does this. It amazes me that he actually goes along with it. After a bit of a conversation. I mean, if I was him, I would tell her, holy crap, lady, you want me to go out and save a bunch of massively giant creatures that eat anything and everything? And there are ones that swim in the ocean? I mean, we're afraid of great white sharks as it is. Can you imagine one that's 17 stories long? And somehow, they're trying to convince him to go get his dinosaur Blue by telling him that she is alive. Now, how in the world did they know that? I have no idea. I mean, she's a tiny dinosaur on a relatively small island with a bunch of big dinos. There's a pretty good chance that she just became like a dino Chewie. Well, they have banter and they go off to save the dinos finally. And this by transporting them off the island. Oh, and she brings along what amounts to Moss from the IT crowd, and a Latina who is really pissed off all the time and kind of assertive. And we're not talking about like a cool Latina assertive, like in Aliens, where Private Vasquez, played by Jeanette Goldstein, would go in there and everyone had confidence that she had the mettle to save us all single-handedly. More like some girl with terminal resting bitch face. It was rather annoying throughout the entire film. Well, they all go to the island, and their first mission is to find Blue. It was confusing why all the mercenaries had a bunch of little weapons also. I mean, you're there to capture the creatures, you don't want to shoot them at all. And even if you did, it wouldn't do anything to them. So what's the point with the little guns? I mean, I would have had a grenade launcher and a turret with me at the very least. Those things are huge and nasty. Either I capture them or we have burgers. I saw the first Jurassic Park and what happened to Samuel L. Well, their first step is to go to the old Jurassic World Park itself that we saw back in the previous film. And there's a callback with a scene with a Brachiosaurus, which does absolutely nothing to stir emotions like it actually did in the first movie. We did that already, guys. There is a scuffle with a pissy Latina girl when she takes charge of everything because she's a scientist and she knows more about capturing massively large razor-toothed wild creatures than a military force that's bent on protecting everyone around them because they've been trained for years for defense and have gone on so many missions before, maybe even dinosaur ones, and she's just a pissy girl. Yeah, I feel sorry for now, ma'am. Thank you very much for your guile. Well, they finally find Blue, and at that point, they are betrayed by the evil mercenaries. No one saw that coming. Now, they're betrayed for absolutely no reason I can think of. And there's a Mexican standoff sort of thing with the evil mercs and the pissy Latina. I think it was necessary to have a betrayal for a Jurassic Park film. I mean, in thinking about it, this is the formula for a Jurassic Park film to be. Dinosaurs at risk, plus save the dinos with a group of unqualified people, which includes a hunter, an adventurer, scientist, a strong girl, kids, and a radical scientist, plus betrayal somewhere, plus personal emotional experience with dinos, plus almost getting eaten by dinos, plus saving the dinos after watching the bad guys get eaten, equals Jurassic Park franchise. I never understood why it makes sense to take a bunch of wimpy scientists on a hunt for creatures that will definitely eat them. It's kind of like taking little kids, which they've done that too. It would be nice to have a Jurassic Park movie where no one betrays anyone else, or at least that's not the main plot point. At this point, I kept thinking it would be awesome if at least one person jumped out in an inflatable T-Rex suit. I would rate this movie a 10 if that happened at any point. And just so you know, major spoiler, it doesn't. The main action does start around 40 minutes into it. But to be honest with you, I think they should have kept it off a little longer, because it didn't give enough time for me to understand clearly what was going on or why they were betrayed, and have a reason to care for any of the characters at all. Well, maybe a little bit for Chris Pratt, and a bit more for Bryce Dallas. The evil mercenaries load up many of the dinos, and coincidentally at that time, the volcano starts massively erupting too! So our heroes have to escape. This is all very coincidental. They get into the truck and haul butt directly into the mercenaries' ship, even at one point jumping a small ramp and ramming into the fully occupied cargo hold seconds before the island blows up. And strangely enough, not one of the mercenaries notices anything awry, like who was driving, or that a truck just rammed into the occupied cargo hold of their boat. Lucky. I think they hire deaf mercenaries because every noise that occurs afterward in the ship, and we're talking massive dinosaurs trying to escape their imprisonment, scratching, screaming, bending steel, roaring everywhere, goes completely undetected. No one ever comes around to check on anything. Ever. Maybe a loose door at one point. Their final destination is another island, where they can set these suckers loose, and probably a private island it would be, near a fascist dictatorship that's been bought off, where the dinos go undetected by American or any coalition forces. Nope, I'm kidding. They go to the billionaire's mansion, more specifically his basement. I'm really not kidding. Here they start auctioning off all the dinos to evil rich men, especially the Russians, just like we're back in the 80s again. Where's Arnold and Sly when you need them? And they actually have a runway to load the dinos on to impress the evil rich guys. And these dinos, as massive as they are, just go down the runway in between all these guys, just watching and waiting. I don't understand why these people were so excited to buy these dinos. I mean, really. I mean, even if they decide at high cost to genetically engineer them to be obedient and even more lethal, I think a good machine gun or bazooka can pretty much make round beef of them and take one out, like, really fast. Why can't they just use a drone or a guy in armor or a tank to accomplish whatever mission they have? Why a $22 million dinosaur that they can barely control? Now, a highlight of the movie is watching the little Stygimoloch, the bald dino, headbutt people higgledy-piggledy. You see them flying to and fro, it was great. Well, Chris Pratt goes and tries to call the authorities to have them send the military forces here before the dinos can escape and wreak havoc on the entire global ecology, misshaping our world for the worse and causing upheaval everywhere. No, I'm kidding. He takes everyone on himself. Woo, go Chris! And then they have this long, drawn-out scene towards the end where the genetically engineered velociraptor, they have a genetically engineered velociraptor now, is trying to get the little girl who's hiding under her sheets. I'm not sure what the director was trying to say here, in this case, because it didn't really give us a sense of suspense in any way, or a sense of fear, because I didn't really care about the character of the little girl at all. They really didn't develop her, so if he goes to eat her, I think we'd all be good with it. After a showdown with a genetically engineered raptor and Chris, with the help of his faithful raptor doggy Blue, Chris saves the day from the evil mercenaries. The evil guys are stopped, and we find out that the little girl in the mansion ends up being a clone for some reason. I have no idea, I'm just going along with this thing. And in the end, she herself releases all the dinos into the wild. So Bryce Dallas's group got what they wanted. The dinos are saved, yay! So the entire world is irrevocably changed for the worse. We're all screwed now. Thanks, kids. Well, there you have it. This one was a bit painful. I'm giving this one a 4 out of 10 pissy Latina radical girls. We have come such a distance from the original Jurassic Park, and it really does seem like they are lost in what they do with this franchise. It's kind of like they are throwing darts on a wall of ideas and just going with whatever gets stuck. I mean, they mixed up DNA with super intelligent raptors again. Now they got volcanoes blowing up. Jeff Goldblum makes a cameo. There's literally callbacks everywhere. There's actually evil Russians in this movie. B.D. Wong is the evil guy again. I mean, for the most part, it's a big mess, and the magic is lost. Even just the idea of it being an adventure is gone. It's kind of sad that every time I hear John Williams' music theme from Jurassic Park, it sadly reminded me of the original one, and the feelings I got when I first saw it. I've certainly not felt it since, and at this rate, I doubt I will ever see it again. What do I know? I'm just a cookie.